Okay, look how sharp I'm looking today, hey? Got the haircut, got this on. Magic. All right, let's do scale modes. So a scale mode would be like a scale variation, we might say. So if you had C major, you can have variations of C major or modes of C major. Okay, so let's have a look at it. Where am I? Oh no, I drew on it. Okay, so we've got a C major scale here, and what we could do is a C major scale but change the root note. So we could say C major, but we're just going to start on D. So this is not D minor or D major. It would be called a mode of C major, and it would be called D Dorian. And so when you're talking about modes, it's always starts with the note you start on. So if you start on a D, it's called D something, and in this case, I'll go through it in a bit, but this would be called D Dorian scale. Okay, so what we need to do is, I've jumped ahead a little bit here, but each note of the scale has a different name. So if you start on the first note of a C major scale, it's called C Ionian. If you start on the second note of C major, it's called D Dorian, E Phrygian, F Lydian, Mixolydian. So it's a bit easier in practice. I'll do one for you, and we'll see how we go. So beautiful treble clef. Probably spent too long doing that. You might have got bored and unsubscribed. So E. So our scale has to start on E. So I'm going to write an E. Phrygian is the third mode of something, right? So what is E the third of? That's what we're trying to work out. So E is the third of C major. So really all I'm going to do now is, I've started with an easy one, is I'm just going to write out C major, but starting from E. So and that's it. I've written E Phrygian scale, which sounds fancy. So this might sound a little bit like a flamenco type of sound, perhaps, maybe. Let's do another one. What else have I put? F Dorian. Okay, it's going to get a little trickier, which makes sense. So F, it's got to start on an F, so I'd write an F. I could even put an F at the end because it's got to end on an F, so I could do that, although now I'm going to have to get my spacing perfect. Dorian is the second mode. So I want to know, what is F the second note of? So of course, it's the second note of E flat major, which has the key signature of battle, ends, and 3 flats. So we write in the rest of the notes, hopefully getting our spacing perfect. And then we can either put the key signature in, or we can put accidentals in. So I'm going to put accidentals in. So battle, ends, what else have I got? E. That'll do it. I think so. Put 3 flats in. All right, that is F Dorian scale. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I am happy with that. Just got to check. You never know. Might have been wrong. Hey, Mixolydian. Which one? A Mixolydian or the? It doesn't matter. It was terrible treble clef while I was doing it. So A is the root note. So A is that. What is Mixolydian? Is the 5th of something. So it's the 5th of D major. Of course. So it's got F and C sharp. Okay, so again, I could do either. I'm going to go use a key signature this time. Should finish with a double bar line, shouldn't I? Try and make it neat. So I could just put F sharp, C sharp, and that would be done. I've written a Mixolydian scale. Okay, so that's how to do that. Now, depending on what kind of music level you're at, depends on what you might have to write. So usually if you're doing exams, they wouldn't usually do Phrygian and Locrian, or maybe even Lydian at maybe a secondary school like level, you probably wouldn't use those. But if you're at university or college, you would probably use all of these 7, and then you could do modes for the minor scale as well. So you'd have to look at wherever you are as to what you actually need to learn. And they can also do easier key signatures. Like, so some keys are a lot easier than others. Like, anyway. All right, so let's have a look at one more thing before we go. So there is a shortcut we can do here, or a shortcut maybe, depends. It's just a different way of thinking about it. You can see here I've written out the scale spelling, a bit like I did before with the chord spelling. So what this means is this is how you could do it compared to a major scale. And this tends to be how maybe jazz musicians would think about this, or keyboard players, because a keyboard player plays a chord and they're thinking, oh, that's got a flat 7/3 something or other, and then they might play a scale on top of that. And so the chord spelling can sometimes be the scale spelling can be a lot quicker and easier than trying to think about the root note. So how would we do this? We'd go get my pen first. We're going to write a beautiful treble clef. Yes. Then we're going to, it's G, so it still starts and stops on G. Where's my G? I'm going to squeeze him in. And then I'm going to write out my scale. And then, so there's my normal G major scale. But now, because I'm trying to do Mixolydian, I look at the spelling of it down here. And I go, oh, it's got a lowered 7th or a flattened 7th. So I'm going to, damn it! I deleted everything, so now I'm going to have to do that all again. So this sharp would go bye-byes. We wouldn't have that anymore. Essentially, that would either you would write a natural or you just wouldn't put it in because it's been lowered by a semitone. So yeah, that can be useful if you're trying to identify a scale or something too. So just another way of thinking about it. If you want to do this system of spelling, you obviously have to memorize that whole thing, because you don't want to be trying to work that out while you're playing the keyboard or doing an exam. That's not going to work for you. Okay, bye-bye now.